Welcome to the Own It Show. I am Heather Lee Chapman, your holistic high performance coach for conscious human beings. And I'm so grateful to be here today with special guest, Melissa Buffington. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Hey, Heather, thank you so much for reaching out and inviting me here. It feels like such a powerful time for us to reconnect and this conversation to come forward in all the ways that it can serve.
Yeah, and I'm so excited and grateful that today we're going to be talking about how to truly step into that version of you that is you. So, how to own your purity of your soul essence. Not the person we think we're conditioned to be or that we're supposed to be, but actually answering the calling of our own soul essence. And Melissa is such a beautiful soul. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information about her first, and then we're going to dive into some incredible tips and tricks from her. So she is a former mental health counselor turned entrepreneur and societal change maker. As a visionary leader, she is on this planet to help new waves of leaders rise and together forge the businesses, families, and communities of the future. Melissa is also a devoted wife and mother who has fully surrendered to her role in facilitating the grounding of the kingdom of heaven on earth, consisting of new paradigms and systems for life on earth. And we're so grateful for you and all that you do. So thank you so much. And please share more about you and what you do.
So it's a really cool time for you to ask that question as I get more and more immersed into the purity of my soul essence and following a calling rather than the path that I think I'm supposed to take, or the path that the world teaches you will lead you to success and impact and significance and service and all these concepts that we throw around. But what I'm really here to do is to be a beacon of light during difficult times and to be a force of love and unity in the face of all this false division that we're facing. And we're in a world and a system that churns on basically the life force energy of human beings who've sold their souls to step into false roles. And it's a system that facilitates the experience of fear and chaos. And it's not anything to worry about or to fight against or to be afraid of, because it's all part of what we came here for. This planet is a school for master souls to evolve and refine and graduate from. And what better way to do that than to come into this machine, this darkness, and this descended 3D experience of forgetting who we are, forgetting what's true, forgetting what matters, and then being put into systems and experiences that teach and program and condition us far, far, far away from all of that. So yeah, I'm here to spread that message and basically to be a vessel for the frequency of unconditional love and above to flow into this planet and to open up opportunity and choice points for others. And like I said, bring us together. There's so much false division in our language and our culture and our religion and the, media and propaganda machine. And I think everybody's done with that. The majority of people don't live in the extremes that we see publicly. We want the same things. We have common values. We want a simple life. We want, I was taken back to recently the Declaration of American Independence, and they spoke about the pursuit of life, or life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that this is what people want, and that we have God-given rights and God-given freedoms, and government is here to be of the people, by the people, and for the people, and no more. And yeah, we've moved, so far away from that as a collective, but I think as a collective, we're ready to be done. So I'm here to bring people together.
I love that. And I know yourself and myself, and that's why we connect so well, are truly here to birth that new earth of unity consciousness. The one where we all win or nobody wins. The one where we can find those commonalities and come together and live with peace in heaven on earth for the highest good of all.
Yeah.
And not just a select few. So I'm excited for this new earth and this unity consciousness that is coming through, that is flowing abundantly, and that is just going to continue to grow and evolve into this next evolution of humanity, where the duality begins to slip away.
Yeah. It's an extraordinary time to be here. Extreme contrast, right? And one could say extremely challenging, but What a joyful time. What a beautiful opportunity. What a gift to be on one of the most beautiful planets in the cosmos during one of the most incredible times of expansion and creation of new things.
It gives me goosebumps. And I know I just like I know some of us joke, you're like, are you sure your soul made the contract to come now? Like, why now? If you're sitting in that duality, I know you've thought that before. And yes, yes, we're all here for in divine right timing, exactly where we're meant to be, and we're all playing a part in that evolution. And we need the darkness so that we can see the light. And then there's the in between, and all of our souls are here to play a purpose. So when we can see the light in the darkness and the purpose for it, then we can come from that place of unity, consciousness, and understanding, and just see that it's all here to birth that new earth, to bring out the evolution, and the duality must come up to come out. So I'm super excited for that evolution. And then I always like to kick off with a piece of advice, like something that you maybe live by or has made a big difference for you that maybe you wish you knew a long time ago, but it guides you now. So what would you like to share?
Everything is exactly as it's meant to be, and it's impossible to make a mistake.
Everyone let that resonate for a second. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Everything is in divine right timing. You are perfect, whole, and complete. And there's nothing broken and nothing to fix. Just
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And it's not possible to make a mistake. We could talk about that from a million different angles. And I used to always give the caveat when a really simple thing comes through for me to share with others. They used to say, well, it sounds so simple, but the truest things are. But like, forget that. I'm sending out a tone, a frequency that you can calibrate to and you can embrace. It's like nourishment for the soul. It can fill in the gaps and the wounding that we have, because I'm just here to serve as the vessel for that to come through, to bring us together and to elevate our collective consciousness. And so everything is exactly as it's meant to be. There's no fight. There's no fight. There's nothing to fight against. There is a process of spiritual development where we have to discern dark from light and good from evil, which I define as what is life force giving and what is life force harvesting. You have to discern that. But like you said, everyone and everything is playing a part. And every religion will speak about there's a common ending. There's one place that we're going to. It's inevitable. It's unstoppable. There's a force of nature that's at play here. And so the more you can embrace that path of surrender and trust in a holistic level, and just be willing to feel all the emotions, and through that experience, understand that it's so temporary and it so doesn't dictate your life's outcome or your ability to enjoy this journey, the
Mhm.
more you can dissolve suffering and just be here now. And it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, and if you haven't read the book The Power of Now, I highly, highly recommend it. It could change your life. I know it has for me. And a lot of us are stuck in our old stories and beliefs. Um, and if we can just practice being in the now, then we can actually see the magic that is the now. And miracles are happening every single second. And there's so much magic and beauty in this world. But we're often lost in story in our minds. So I dare you all just to practice really being present today and enjoying the day and finding the gratitude and the peace and the joy in every single moment. Instead of waiting for the next thing or worrying about something or being in a story, just be in the joy of the now, because right now is a miracle. It is a miracle that we're all here right now, that we have this very moment to be here, and just find the gratitude in that. And if we could practice doing that all day, it puts us kind of back into that flow of positivity, that frequency that Melissa was talking about, that will have life flow a little bit more easily and abundantly. And we can find that joy and peace wherever we are. And it's just really practicing being present makes a big, big difference.
Yeah. And actually a different than what we had discussed, but tip or trick or whatever is coming forward from that. And I want to preface it by saying all of the great leaders and teachers that really changed the trajectory of human history went through very dark circumstances, right? You look at the biblical figure of Jesus, betrayed by everybody and everyone, and then killed publicly in the most shameful way. You look at Gandhi, assassinated. He stood for nonviolence. He was taken out in that way. You look at Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He was in Auschwitz, right? Deprived, isolated, absolutely oppressed in every way. And he wrote this beautiful book about the beauty and the joy and the gratitude that's available in life. That's true liberation, is being able to be the way Jesus taught it, is in this world, not of this world, to experience the emotions and witness the circumstances in this 3D reality, but transcend that into a state where you know that all is well and you're at minimum resonating in peace.
To
Right.
resonate in
So
peace is your first tip.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that I actually didn't even drop the tip, but that's a good tip.
Yeah,
But the
yeah,
tip I was going to say that I guess would be the gateway. If you're trapped in the mind, which is where all suffering lives, to the gateway into resonating into peace would be to, in any moment, ask yourself the question, is there anything wrong, anything that I need to solve right here, right now, in this moment? Or am I okay right here, right now, in this moment? Right?
Okay.
Just ask yourself that question. Your mind can't fuck that one up.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's such a great tip. So just one more time, repeat that for everyone in case they were off in story somewhere. It's really important for us to ask the question that, is there anything for us to solve right now? Right? So to be able to be in the now and to understand, like in this very moment, we don't need anything. Like we everything is good and there's nothing for us to solve. We just get to be in the now and in the present. And there's so much magic in that because that takes us out of the fight or flight state and actually allows us to be in rest and digest, and where we mentally and physically can be in peace and joy and ease. Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yep. Yep. Should I
Yeah.
continue with
Yeah,
another
take it away.
here?
Keep the tips
Okay,
rolling.
yeah.
So beautiful.
Show me the way, Heather. All right. The second thing that I would share, I guess a teaching or a piece of advice, is I want to invite everyone to play the real game of what we came for. And the real game here is actually nothing to do with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's a structure that helps frame our minds to be prepared to die so that they can become subservient to the heart and to operating from a higher state of consciousness. But what we're actually here to do is above and beyond that, right? Even if you look at the example I just gave of Viktor Frankl in Auschwitz, and he's sitting here in joy and in unconditional love and in gratitude for everything, that defies that, right? Because he didn't have food, he didn't have shelter, he didn't have belonging. Like, forget all the rest. Self-actualization, what the freak is that? Like, he's not on the pyramid, he's in a different place, right?
Yeah.
And so what I want to invite people to play is the real game. The real game exists in the spiritual realms. Right. So there's been a growing trend in the personal and professional and spiritual development space to tap into your spiritual gifts. And I think that's one of the most important things we can guide people to do, because you access that through the healing of your pain body, through the experiencing of your emotions, right? What you talked about, what you're certified in now, timeline therapy, NLP, there's a million different tools and techniques that serve at different times and, align with people to move them forward in that. But developing your gifts allows you to operate in the actual reality. Everything that we're experiencing here in the 3D is an echo of the lived reality in the spiritual realms. And we have access to that, direct access to that. And I would say, even if for some reason I keep getting called to speak to people who were raised in Christianity, or keep referencing that, I think because it's, one of these major religions in the world, and especially in the hemisphere we're in, but that even aligns with biblical teachings, because when Jesus died and left, the curtain in the temple was torn, which was the removal of anyone or anything sitting between us and our direct connection with God. And we were gifted what was called the Holy Spirit. It's this God within us. It's this ability to connect directly into the eternal, into the spiritual realms, like out. It's our way out of this 3D reality, outside of the bounds of time. And so you can connect directly there, right? So pursuing and discovering your spiritual gifts and your ability to see and sense beyond the 5 known senses into what's called extra sensory perception. It ain't extra, it's how we're wired. Going there allows you to tap into the real reality, create real change that then is made manifest here in the 3D as an echo. You're playing the wrong game if you're trying to fight something or create something or do something in the 3D thinking that will change things. That's in the past. And it's okay to play that game, but at some point, I guess people listening to this must be ready to graduate from that game, because at some point you can step out of that. And that's real liberation. That's true self-actualization.
And to me, the quote that I used to say that goes along with that is to work smarter, not harder. So I was very stuck in the physical realm. I did 7 days a week, 18-hour days, 3 businesses, 3 contracts, volunteering, no more time to trade for money, absolutely burnt out and exhausted. And I thought, I want to get there from here, but I can't get there from here because I was trying everything so much on the physical. And yes, things worked out for me a lot smoother because I used the practice of gratitude, mindfulness, but not to the full ability that I do now. And now my life is unrecognizable, so much more peaceful and so much more different, and things work out a lot more easily. And I just actually challenged my clients to listen to Entering the Spirit of It by Thomas Terrard for Every Day for 30 Days. And in it, he says, we work so hard in the mechanical that we forgot about the spiritual world. And when we put that plan together in the physical world and we put it all together, if one thing doesn't align, we miss the mark. But what if we actually also connected to spirit, and followed that guidance and tapped into those clairvoyant gifts and our intuition and our true connection to source, and worked in the spiritual world, start to act as if entering the spirit of it means to be in the spirit, the energy of the goal achieved, and act as if now, and most of us say, when then I will. Right? But we actually want to be in spirit and call forth what we desire, but doing that now and not waiting for it. So when we can step out of just the mechanical and the physical and the 3D world and incorporate spirituality, spiritual science, people look at it a different way. When we can bring them together, because we are physical human beings. We came for the human experience. Let's not forget that. We actually came for that. That's why we're here right now. And so there needs to be a balance between the both, because there's part who are denying their physical experience. And that ascension doesn't work unless we work spirit, mind, body, soul. And then we have people who work so hard in the body and the physical, and they wonder why things don't change because they forgot they're a spiritual being having a physical experience. And that's something for them to remember. And that's why my whole approach is the holistic, because it's so important for us not to, as you were saying before, have the extremes of one or the other. It's really to find that harmony and the balance between it all, for us to truly tap into those gifts to create here with spirit and energy and bring forth into the physical, instead of just, because I was that person, I was the workhorse. Couldn't literally work any harder in the physical. And I was raised religious and then not, and then enter spirituality. And I thought, Mom, you're crazy. And then I went to school and took a science degree. And I would even say, like, drop the idea of God then. I was like, Big Bang Theory, evolution, biology class. And then I actually started to drop back in that spirit. And when I found the balance between that physical and metaphysical world, and theology and spiritual science, and bringing that energy in, but also with the physical, right? That you have people who think, oh, I'm just going to sit and pray and make everything happen. But there's also action to be taken in the physical world. There's a balance between them both. And when I found that and incorporated them, that's when everything changed for me. That's when everything And I'm still working on it. We say like, yay, human experience, like yay, being human. Right? Every day is different. Every day we get up and we do our best, and our best is enough. And this is an evolutionary journey. We've never truly arrived. And so just to really welcome that journey and to see it more than just a physical journey.
Yeah, that's huge. The third thing that I have listed here as like a tip or trick to offer is material and spiritual power must be balanced for happiness and success to withstand the test of time. And it's funny, I wrote that, and that's what you were just articulating, but from a different lens and layer kind of. But as you were talking and I heard the word balance, I'm reflecting on my own journey and my own experience. When I'm operating from an aim of balance, there's so much room for me to be wrong, to make myself
Mm.
wrong, to drop into a loop of introspection that actually becomes a mind game that can feel like spiritual development, but it's just spinning of the wheels in the same state of consciousness I was already in. So it's beautiful what we're doing here. We're doing like this dance of like bridging things down and backwards and down to like reach people on all different layers and levels of where they're at. So freaking cool. What I was thinking about kind of marrying this all together is the quote. I think it's Einstein. I don't know. It's one of those probably that's attributed to Einstein, but no one knows who actually said it. Like, so credit to whoever actually said this. It was brilliant. You cannot solve a problem from the same state of consciousness that created it.
Mm.
So it's really about understanding the structure and the layers of spiritual reality. This is not just a la 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 la, everything and anything goes, and I'm spiritual being. Like that's pointing to what you were talking about, where there's a bypassing and an avoidance and a not reckoning with the 3D physical reality, which, like you said, is what we came for. That's
Yeah.
the realm of density where the mastery and the purification and the lessons like are learned and all of that happens. It can't be bypassed. But the problem is people are playing the 3D game and even using spiritual tools to try to win a 3D game. That's the wrong game. It's not winnable. You get that? I was at an event last week with a bunch of 7 and 8 figure female business owners, and the ones who had completed the largest transactions, $100 million, like this, and, 25 million pulled out from their business sale on that or whatever. You know what they said to me? I don't know who I am. I don't know how I feel, but how I feel is not how I thought I would feel. And I'm lost and I've sacrificed everything and it wasn't worth it. And I'm exhausted. And it's not that the money caused that, but it's that they were using spiritual tools, because these are like pretty evolved, advanced women, but they're using spiritual tools to try to win a 3D game. And that's part of their journey. They weren't wrong. It wasn't a mistake, right? But we're here to walk each other home, as Ram Dass said, right? So we're just offering other things here for people to move forward. But it's about referencing a higher state of consciousness, solving the problem or addressing things there, and allowing that to shape the 3D, but staying plugged into and present with the 3D, looking at the circumstances, feeling the emotions of the problems or the pain or the challenges that are here, feeling all of that, and then going back here and playing in that realm, allowing that to ripple forward. And then you're in what truly is effortless action. It doesn't require effort because it's a a flowing of a higher frequency. It's a flowing of a greater state of consciousness, which really is the future. When you mash it up with the 3D reality, it's flowing the future into the present, and the future holds what we desire because it just holds a higher state of consciousness, which will be reflected back to us in better circumstances or more money in the bank or your partner, or whatever those things are that are the desires seated in your heart to propel you forward in your evolution. So it's understanding that structure and knowing that's the game you're playing, staying plugged in here for the willingness to experience the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between. That's what it is to be fully alive. And then through that compression, you transcend, you become the Viktor Frankl, who it doesn't matter what's happening here. You become the Christed being who's like, I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. And so I'm blissful, I'm joyful, I'm eternal, and this is temporary, and I'm here to enjoy and embrace it all. So that feels complete.
And I'm here to enjoy and embrace it all. Yeah, because we really are all of it, and it's finding the love and appreciation for each and every experience. And I think that's the true point of our ascension, is when we can hit that moment of joy and peace and gratitude regardless of the external circumstances. When we can not be in the mind game, but own that mind and choose that peace and serenity regardless of external world. And instead of looking externally and allowing it to have us be a certain way. And then also that part of that human experience is like to allow ourselves to feel, be human, feel the emotions, do the things that allow you to transmute and heal. Because for so many of us, when we say get into like the law of attraction, we stop feeling our feelings because we feel afraid of them because we think that then we create more negativity. But until we transmute them and feel them and release them, they create more of the same. So there is a whole part of this human experience that will really truly allow us to enjoy it more. It's just not commonly talked about or taught. And you've got people like Melissa and myself and so many other incredible guides that are here to support you and help you to truly own this human experience, to connect to your spiritual truth, to your higher powers, to your higher selves, and still enjoy and own this human experience and what you came here for during this time. And is there any last piece of advice that you'd like to share? And what's your favorite book that you want to recommend?
Yeah, the advice that I would share is what you came here to do is to be yourself, wholly yourself, which means transmuting or alchemizing or healing or releasing anything that's blocking that from coming through, letting go of anything that is not that, anything you've taught, any identity you've tried on, and having the courage to be who you are, which means that you're going to constantly be changing and evolving, to stop trying to land in or arrive in some sort of circumstance that allows you the illusion of safety and security, because safety and security can't be found in this dimension. It's found outside of time, in that higher state that we're being invited to experience while being manifest here in 3D and form, which is the heaven on earth. That is the new earth. That is the bliss that we came here to experience. It's a freaking gorgeous planet, you guys. I talk about this all the time. I can't say it enough. It's like so freaking gorgeous. Like, so other planets don't have this diversity of landscape and life forms and possibility for creating new things. Like, this is a massive opportunity. That's why there's so many interdimensional beings and trying to come here, because this is extraordinary, and they don't want to reckon with the pain body, the emotional experience. They want to bypass that through the mind and technology, and it's not possible. So that's why we're experiencing the contrast here from a cosmic perspective. But you just came here to be you. You just came here to be you. That can be your North Star. That's a concept that was really the first thing that came forward in the true version of my business side of work, is the you print. It's the blueprint of your soul. It's the truth of your soul's essence. And it's your desires and passion, your gifts and talents, your personality, which is like your unique flavor or lens or way that you sprinkle, your magic in the world. And then your skills and experience, which is the path that you've walked and, the pathway out that you've paved for other people through that journey. And you just came here to be that. That's it. That's it. Right. So we go, whatever state of consciousness you're in, there's tools, techniques, guides, things there to support you in evolving. But there's also what I would call wormholes, portals straight out of that. And that's what I'm hosting now. This is interesting. It's coming forward. I just opened a group that's the merger of 4 different groups that I used to run. It's called the Incubator. And it is a portal directly out of, duality consciousness into this other place. And when you're ready for it, the invitation is there. And if you're called to it and you're ready for it, you step in, and it's 3 months and literally you're on the other side. I can't even describe to you what has been required by myself and an inner circle of long-term clients to forge this thing, but it's there, whatever your journey wants, whatever it requires. And we're going to need to assist more and more people popping out of things quickly as time goes on and different events, unfold on the planet. So I don't know where I started with all of this, but that was it. You just came here to be yourself. It's so simple. Come back to that North Star over and over and over and over, discover the truth of who you are and have the courage to be that and make decisions from that.
It's so beautiful. And I've actually been playing with the question, who am I? So I dare you, write it, read it, say it, and just receive. And also know that you are source. You are an extension of Source, creator of all that is, and you came here to truly discover your unique you print, as you said, which I think is beautiful. So own that authentic wellness and self and healing journey and spiritual journey. And if you are looking for a portal to get there faster, to bypass some of that pain body and release it in the best and highest way, Melissa is your guide. So there is a link here and you can connect with her. There's so much opportunities here to gain resources from her, but also to learn more and connect. So make sure you click the link and just thank you. Thank you for guiding us here today. Thank you for guiding humanity and for being that portal to access that higher consciousness and our true potential and our greatness. So thank you for being you and for doing what you do. We really appreciate you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Heather, I feel like the same thing comes through to say to you when I talk to you, but thank you for the light that you shine. You have a radiance about you and a warmth that invites people in to a safe place where they can move forward with more grace, with more ease, with less suffering. And it's beautiful. So thank you for radiating that.
Thank you. That's my sole purpose. And I'm so grateful to be able to hold the space for all of us to heal and transcend. So, guys, now's your opportunity to continue to live life by design and make sure you connect with Melissa. And thank you so very much. And remember, everybody, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, expect magic and miracles, and remember what is the best that can happen. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.